Peace and blessings, guys. Welcome to episode 51 of Aspire to Inspire, where we interview industry professionals. Guys, I'm so blessed and humbled to be able to introduce our 51st guest on this platform. She is so vibrant, so amazing, and I just met her within like 5 minutes ago. But without further ado, let me introduce you guys to Brittany L. Smith. Let me read her credits for you guys. She's born and raised in Miami, Florida. She began performing in college after an advisor convinced her to follow her true passion, which is honestly amazing. After college, she moved to Atlanta, Georgia to further her acting career. Her film credits include Creepshow, To Her With Love, You Can't Take My Daughter, and If Loving You Is Wrong. Brittany made her biggest break into film and television with her reoccurring role, which I'm pretty sure you guys will see where she's from as soon as you see her face, from the Netflix show, Sweet Magnolias. Guys, I am so excited to be able to interview Brittany. Let me bring her on to our virtual stage here so you guys can get a vibe of what she is and who she's about. Hi, Brittany. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Like I said right off the bat, I just want to thank you so much for agreeing to be on this platform, already giving you the background of what this platform is, how important it is to share your journey with other people and to be an inspiration. It's just an honor and a privilege to have you here. I hope you're excited as I am.
I'm really excited. Thank you. Thank you. And congrats to you on your 51st episode. That's huge. That's really big. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'm not here to talk about myself. We're here to talk about you and how you got to where you are as a recurring role on Netflix show Sweet Magnolias, which I watch, and I admire you and your work and the character you play in that show. So honestly, let's just jump right into this interview and take it straight from the beginning. I'd like to start off with asking my guest to just tell us a little bit about yourself, likes, dislikes. How did you get to where you are? Let us know who Brittany L. Smith is.
Hi. Brittany L. Smith. Yes, born and raised in Miami, Florida, real Miami, Florida, not just South Beach. And I moved to Georgia in like 2011, but born and raised, went to University of South Florida, go Bulls in Tampa, graduated from there. And people sometimes think the journey to where I am, and believe me, I'm still growing, was an easy one. It was not. It was very, 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 very difficult. My whole life, I wanted to be a lawyer. Like, I was ready to be the female Johnny Cochran. I was reading law books, and the schools that I went to, my high school, we had magnet program. And so we had performing arts and we had dance and we had business, but I was in the legal and public affairs because I was going to be the female Johnny Cochran. And so I studied that, did mock trials, learned through all of that. That was my main goal since I was like in elementary school and all throughout middle and high school. And then I got to college, and my professor, who was teaching political science at the time at a different university, she was a former judge. And so people were like hanging on every word and was like so wrapped in what she was saying. And I was counting dots on the ceiling. I was like, I'm so bored. That's when I realized I probably don't want to do this for the rest of my life. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I switched my major a lot every semester for like the first 2 years. And I finally sat down with a guidance counselor. She's like, well, Brittany, what do you like to do? And I was like, I love to read. I really just genuinely love to read. I've loved to read since a little girl. My parents would be like, you can read as long as you want, just wake up in time for school. And even after I finished a book, like the story would still continue in my mind. Characters would still live in my mind. And I just thought it was so fascinating. And my advisor was like, well, maybe you should take an acting class. I was like, ma'am, acting is fun and people don't have fun in their careers. So I'm not trying to hear this. And she's like, no, just take it. So she was right. I took an acting class as an elective, and I was like, oh, this is where I want to be. And that school at the time didn't have an acting program. So I transferred to the University of South Florida to their theater performance program. And that's pretty much how the ball got started rolling.
I love asking this question because everyone's beginning is so uniquely tailored to them in some shape or form. So being able to have a desire, or not a desire, so to say, but to love reading, that goes so deep in what you're doing today. What you do for, you know, the career for yourself. To kind of hear it and kind of, I know you, but to reflect on that, that is such a powerful thing to see where you were versus where you are today. So it's just a beautiful testimony to hear and for you to share that. So I really appreciate it. And I love asking that question. Everyone is,
of course. Yeah, everyone's like origin story is different.
That is so true. That is so true. So transitioning from acknowledging that you had the acting bug, I mean, in discovering that, you know, I think it's such a beautiful thing. And with that, it's just so funny how the word actor can be so misconceived in so many ways. And you said right off the jump, it wasn't easy for you to get to where you are today. I mean, I'm sure you can testify that more than I can comprehend. But,
for sure.
Yeah, but my question leading into that is there are many misconceptions about the work, let alone the job of an actor. In your personal opinion, Brittany, what do you believe is one of the biggest misconceptions of the role of an actor or the job of an actor that you may have heard during your career?
Not even that I heard, that I experienced myself. That being in, if anybody thinks acting is easy, I can guarantee you are doing it wrong, or you are not as serious about it as you think you are. It is a muscle, just like anything else, that you have to practice and put into practice. And just because you are able to read or read off a paper doesn't necessarily make you an actor. Yes, you have people who are naturally gifted and naturally talented and can naturally absorb and do things and adjust maybe better than other people can, but it is a job. And with any other job, you still have to learn. You still have to learn how to perform, how to do it. Because in this job, you don't get to say, I'm cold, I'm going to go inside, or I don't feel good, I can't come to work that day, or anything else. It's a constant machine that keeps going and evolving, and that you're going to have to learn and to adapt and grow with it. I also think, and you said it, but it made me remember something, is that people think when they say you're an actor, you have to be a star. You have to be number one in a movie. You have to be number one in a TV show. You have to be number one on social media somewhere, that you have to be a star. And what does that mean for people who are in classes and that they are reading and developing and training and in theater performances where the masses may not come see it, or doing independent work where the masses may not see it? And you tell people that I'm an actor and they're like, well, what have I seen you in? Are you sure? Have you worked with such and such? I live in Atlanta, so mine was always, have you worked with Tyler Perry? Because that's the only way to be an actor, or that's the only way to gain credit in their mind. And so knowing that you are an actor by putting in the work, by showing up, taking classes, doing performances, building your resume, building connections, networking, all of those things make you an actor as well as your credits when you get them and when they develop, because it's a tough thing to admit to yourself. I had to tell myself that I was an actor before I let other people tell me that I wasn't, because they never saw me perform, or they didn't think that I wasn't working with like Spielberg yet, or working with Tyler Perry yet. And I was like, no, I'm an actor.
Yeah. And I think, well, first off, everything you said was just so eloquent and beautiful, and just, it was just so spot on, and it gave me everything I needed and more. So I'm sure readers, or not readers, listeners, definitely take away just within answering that question alone. Actors, as an actor, and like yourself, this is the industry where we experience so many no's and so many, why don't you talk to Tyler Perry? Reach out to him.
Right. Like, I'm just going to pick up the phone. I'm just going to call TP as I call him. We're just going to chit chat, and he's going to write me up a movie, and I'm going to star in it, and I'm going to do it for 17 years. And no, until you said that, I didn't think about it, but thanks.
Yeah. So I understand where you're coming from, and hearing that is like a constant, I don't know, like a constant reminder of, being secure in wherever you are, especially in your career path. And hearing that from you and reflecting and reading your work and watching you, I think that's such a huge testament to your mindset and how you believe, that your career is going to go the way that you desire. And then, I bring up God because I'm a Christian.
Me too.
Yeah. But it will happen in God's timing and finding comfort in where you are in the season that you're in. So that it's so funny. You've already answered 2 of my questions within that answer alone. But transitioning from that and just saying thank you once again for sharing so much authenticity. It's so hard to find that, especially in the realm of actors and industry. There's a lot of, scams, a lot of
so many scams.
Steering you the wrong way and just want to take money without even sharing authenticity of where you are. But transitioning from that, you mentioned about, as an actor, being comfortable in taking classes and knowing that that is enough and that you're doing the work and that you're building your craft even while you're training. Can you dive a little bit deeper on the significance or the importance of an actor training? You said at the very beginning that acting is not easy, and if you think it is, about it. And I speak truth to that. Training is the backbone of anything. You got to train to become great at something. So if you mind taking that question away before I speak any further.
No, you are, I understand. And thank you for saying to have the mental stability to be able to do this business. That is all credit to God, because he has picked me up off the floor many a times with a face full of tears and weeping and wondering and questioning if this is what I was supposed to do. So for anyone who is going through it, or who has gone through it, or has been there, or is there is light at the end. There is a reason, there is a purpose. You're always constantly refining your reasons for wanting to be in this business, and telling your story and having a greater purpose bigger than you is, I believe, how we make our impact. I just wanted to say that. But taking the classes, for me, I came in through the theater route. When I was in school, we did started with theater performance. So it was learning about the stage and learning what is acting. Acting is reacting. And learning in a school environment. And so you do your performances, this, that, and the third, whatever. Then you graduate, and then you're in the real world, in the professional working world. I did an apprenticeship a few years after I graduated, which was still centered around theater. And that was probably like the catalyst of how things changed for me. One, because in the theater atmosphere and setting, I feel like, and this is my experience, everybody else is different, is that you're kind of almost taught to please the professor and please the director. Is, yes, I can memorize my lines, and yes, I know how to block and, where I'm supposed to stand on stage, but it's more so of a director tells you what this is supposed to be, and you do it, perform it, great. In the professional realm and atmosphere, I say theater, but it does also connect to film and television. In the professional theater world, it's more of a collaborative process. You are understanding. My apprenticeship taught me how to have a voice in the room, how to have a voice when you're looking through and you're combing through your scripts. It's not just words on the page, obviously. It's not just your given circumstances. It's your real life on page. What is this person dealing with when they're at home? How does that live in their body? What kind of tension is that? Is there? How does that live in their body for them to be able to come to this scene? You as an actor, what in your experience, how do you feel about this? Whether the person's like you or not like you. And that was the catalyst that taught me how to be smarter about scripts. So that way, when I started auditioning for theater and started doing more theater and then made the transition over into television and film, I was like, okay, well, I know how to read a script, but I don't know anything else about the technical whatevers. At the time, self-taping wasn't the huge conglomerate that it is now. So people were still doing some in-person auditions for television, film. And then if you couldn't, then you were going to do self-tape. But it was teetering on that. We're just going to do self-tape. And I vehemently still to this day say that I hated doing self-tape. Like, I just thought it was dumb. Why? Just into the room. I'm going to be great. Let me be charismatic. You can't tell all of that from just a screen and me saying somebody else's words. So my self-tapes were awful. And so learning the technicality about your eyeline and your delivery, and with theater, it's your whole body, but then film, it's everything in your eyes, everything in your expression, and some in your body, and how to adapt to that, and how to still nail your tactics, how to still nail your point to whoever it is that you're driving home, even if it's a one-liner. I know actors, we want, like, give me all the pages, give me all the lines, give me all the monologues. I'm here for it. And that's great. But when you're first starting out, you're probably going to get that one sentence, that two sentence type of audition. So how do you make that full? How do you make that realistic in the world that you live in? So learning how to develop that skill to be able to audition on camera for self-tape, especially if you're coming from a different medium like theater, is something that you definitely need to know. And you need to know your terms. And when you get on set, when you're, okay, you've got two cameras and then like 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, however many people on set, and you have to be like on it. It's more than just memorize your lines and go. It's like, okay, well, who's around me? What do I need to be mindful of? Your script supervisor will tell you, put an S on that word, take an S off that word, make that word one instead of both, make that word this instead of that. Your director will come in, yeah, now invite this person here, and then on the middle line, you were great, and on the third line, if you could just separate this, but then on the fourth line, if you could just come in and pictures up, get ready, camera roll, action, So developing that skill is put into practice when you're playing on game day on set. Those are things you need to be ready for, and muscles that you need to exercise for the real world. So that's why I say, like, training and studying and reading, learning, master classes, all of that is important. I know I said a lot, but
no, this is, oh my gosh, actors, I don't know. It's just with interviewing people, and I'm being 100% honest, people will talk and talk and talk, but I have no problem with that because it just proves how passionate people are about what they do. And it's a beautiful thing to see, like, people walking in what they want to do, let alone talking about it. It's just on another level. So I'm exhilarated. I'm like filled with so much life right now, and I'm not even in the same room as you. I'm just speaking to you, and it just shows how powerful it is to know what you want to do in this world, be able to do it, and sharing what you've learned to get to where you are with other people as well. There's just so much beauty and authenticity with that. So this is why I created stuff. It's literally why I created this. But yes, I mean, you touched on so much, but each fact or each statement that you gave is just 100% true. The transition between stage and film and television, they're two completely different worlds. However, being comfortable and learning and being able to expand and learn from those two different worlds, I think that's just, essential. It's essential for any type of actor, whether you're a working actor or an aspiring actor. These are things that you have to learn and will learn down the line because you keep evolving to that level. I came from a stage background as well, transitioning to TV and film. So I totally get where you're coming from, because stage, of course, you have to be heard. You have to, use your body language. You have to make it big so the people in the back can see you.
Yes.
So, and then, like you said, film, it's all in the eyes. It's subtle body movements. It's just keeping everything to a minimum while still conveying what's on the page, let alone what's
Mm-hmm.
conveying in your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I thank you for not only answering the question, but diving deeper into the question and being able to pull out so much gems and diamonds for people to hear.
Of course, of course.
So important. And moving on from that, I'm actually really excited to ask you this question because now we're diving into the work that you have done. And
Mm-hmm.
as the ticker says below, you star as Peggy Martin on Sweet Magnolias on Netflix. Congratulations. I
Thank
think that's
you.
really amazing. And God only knows it's just the beginning. We'll see you more. And I'm sure
Yes.
prior to, of course, receiving that role, how do I like to form this question? What makes a role great for you? And by that I mean, what are their qualities that makes a film a good suit for you, if that makes sense?
Ooh. That is. Ooh. Yeah, I think we need to like ask me that question every year. That is. Oh my God, that's such a great question. That's gonna vary for person to person. So there is no set answer. Starting out, I was like, I want to be a part of anything. Anything. I want to say, just give me an opportunity. I want to be seen. I want to build my resume. And now I am very intentional about what I will and won't audition for. For me personally, this is me. I don't want to be a part of and or audition for anything that's going to compromise my integrity, my values, or my morals, whatever that may be. Sometimes by a synopsis of the show or whatever they ask you to in auditions. Sometimes it's how Black women are portrayed or depicted, or whatever else. But that would be where I start. That's definitely something. If I feel uneasy about it before I even audition, that's probably like a good sign to know.
It is.
Anything else? And I'll say that because one, the audition is an invitation that you can say yes or no to. When you say yes to the invitation, whatever the show is about, whatever the movie's about, whatever the theater is about, theater performance is about, if they tell you what this such and such and such involves, as they should for this role, you're saying yes to it. If they want to book you, yes, you can, walk through and talk through the terms of like, okay, well, this is what I see, this is what I feel, this is where I'm comfortable with, blah, blah, blah. And things have gotten better because there are intimacy coordinators now, or you can, talk about nudity or whatever, or if you want to do something about word change, all those things are that you can talk about. But you're still saying that you're going to do this. So when you get there on set that day, you're saying you are going to do this, and I don't want to say you have to be comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, you still have to deliver it. So sometimes you have to take that into consideration before you say yes to the audition. As far as something that comes my way that makes it suitable for me, things have been beautiful and joyous, and I have said no to things, but a lot of things that I wish I booked, but that are great, that are challenging, that are smart, that are complex, that are have full intricacies of a person, of a character, of a woman, of a Black woman, would be lovely, and things like that. So those are things that I look for. And having a conversation with my agent is usually where those things start, because they know what I would lean no towards, what I would say yes towards. So that's not really now that I know is not too much of a big problem. But you do want to be careful of what you say yes to.
That is very true. Yes.
Just in life, generally.
In life in general. That is so true. And again, I think again, you hit on so many important parts, and just trying to break it off piece by piece of being comfortable in saying
Mhm.
no.
Yes.
It's already like it's already a word for that. Just being able to talk about being comfortable saying no to particular projects, because I remember, and of course, all actors can testify to this, just wanting just something, just something,
Yeah.
just something.
Yeah. Hmm.
But there is a lot of power in knowing your morals and values, and I'm
Yes.
so grateful you testified to this, because it lines up to how I receive roles as well. And I'm
Yeah.
sure other people don't have to feel bound up by every project that comes their way, because of
Right.
morals and conflicts and beliefs. It triggers. It can
Right.
be a bit alarming. It can be a bit uncomfortable. And of course, we have things today that kind of maneuver, feeling uncomfortable in those situations. But at the same time, it comes down to it's okay to say no.
It is okay to say no. And I wanted to say that again. I know back in the day, people were very adamant about actors saying yes, especially new actors, because they want to do everything and they want to be everything. And you can dangle a pretty check in front of their face and they'll be like, yeah. And then on the back end, it sucks. But you do, as an actor, as a professional, as a person, have the right to say no. And it's okay. Um,
Yeah.
for whatever reason that you say no, you can give a blanketed statement. Oh, I have conflicts, and you have nothing going on at that time. Cool. You could say no and say thank you for the opportunity. Can't wait to work with you again, and that's also it. But you don't have to. It shouldn't be a burden on you to say no, because I promise that this is not the last opportunity that you will ever get, and this is not going to be the only opportunity that you ever get. And sometimes saying no to one thing opens up the door to a yes somewhere down the line, that's for a bigger, prosperous role that would, like, yes, this is what I want to be known for. This is what I want to say yes to. This is where I want to be, and be seen in that light, rather than having to do this and then come out of that again. Everybody is not the same. But I do just want to say that it's okay to say no. I had to learn that the hard way, and God had to come and tap on my shoulder, and we had some talks. But it is okay to say no and to feel comfortable saying no, and to breathe and wait for the next one.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Very well said. Very well said. And transitioning from that, I just have a few more questions for you. I hope you.
Sure, I can talk all the time.
I love that. I love that. Not complaining at all. And yeah, just with feeling comfortable in the nose and being able to have that alignment, knowing what's for you will be for you down the line. I'm pretty sure that you've had a lot of lessons that you've learned, not only just throughout your journey as a working actress, but also with you working on these projects that I stated before. My question for you, Brittany, is throughout your journey as a working actress, and even if it's lessons that you learned while being on set, while working on any project in particular, what were some major lessons that you've learned, or maybe it was something that a cast member has said to you that you were able to hold on to and be able to learn from, and you can take it with you down the line? Is there any moment or any type of experience that you may have with that where it was kind of like, I can take this and bring it with me in the long run?
There are a lot. And I say this to anybody because in my family, or in growing up or doing this endeavor, I didn't have a person to help guide me through it. So a lot of the things were like stumbling blocks, like, oh, I shouldn't do that again. Oh, I shouldn't do this, or I'll try this next time. Until I was able to find, like, at least some worthy mentors. Ooh, definitely learn. I said about, taking classes and stuff like that, but to be consistent about it in all transparency. From the time before that I booked Sweet Magnolias, I did not book for almost 2 years. I was going on like 4 auditions a week, 5 auditions a week. And for 2 years, not one of them said yes. That's a lie. There were 2 that said yes. And they were like, yeah, we want you to come work. And here's your dates. Here's going to be everything. And when I'm in the car driving on the way to set to where they told me I needed to be, they're like, oh, yeah, we went a different way. Sorry. And so that's crushing, because I want people to know that you can have success and then also have lows and take blows in this business. And that doesn't mean that you should. And I don't mean to scare anybody off, but I just mean the reality of it. To continue to pursuing what it is. I mean, sometimes it feels like Groundhog's Day. We're just like, okay, wake up, go prep for an audition, drive home, send off the audition. Okay, wake up, go prep for the audition, do the audition, drive home. And you're like, what am I doing this for? But to keep persevering and to keep at it. And if you have to do it through tears and clenched teeth, to keep doing it, because God's got you and it is a purpose. I will also say something that stands out to me. A makeup artist said it while I was on set, is like, it's okay if you don't fit in. I know that you want to fit in, but it's okay if you don't. Sometimes you're like, I wish I want to be popular like this person, or I want to go do whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if it's against who you are, or if it's just not your lane, or if you're not whatever it is in life, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be your own person. It's okay to not fit in, because it feels like it can feel like a cliquey club. I'm not saying that I've had this problem with any of like my castmates or anything, but the business in general can feel cliquey, and sometimes you just want to be in the know, in the front and center with everybody else. And it's like, no, that's not where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to like do your job, be pleasant and kind, and be a dope person to everyone, and then keep it moving. Also, while being on set, be kind. I can't stress this enough. Be kind. People love working with kind people. There are people who I work with now who have been in the industry for like 20 years who are still kind. And I mean kind to everyone, not just their castmates. They're kind to our drivers. They're kind to hair and makeup. They're kind to crafty. They're kind to our background. They're kind to the people who are doing our COVID tests to make sure that we're safe and that we can do this. Be kind to everyone. I know there's that old Hollywood notion that you can be a jerk and be the dopest actor alive, and so people will put up with it. But really, no, people want to work with people that they like, especially because people will remember you either way, if you're a great person or if you're not. And this business is small, and if somebody's like, I want to know, I haven't worked with such and such yet. Let me call this other person to see what they're like. And baby, let me tell you, the tea will be pouring, because like, oh, let me tell you about this person. And even things that you hear now, you're like, what? Oh, on what show? So be kind. Be kind. Be persistent. Have a life outside of the business. Life outside of the business. Find joy outside of the business. For a very long time, I was like, acting is my life, and I love it, and it'll be so great, and I'm going to invest everything I can into it.
Right.
You need a life. You need a life that's not acting. Go talk to some friends. Go on vacation. That was another unhealthy thing that I learned. Were like, you will have no time for fun. You will never be at baby showers. You will never go to weddings. You will never see funerals. Family members will die, and you will not be there. And that's way extreme and dramatic, but they literally said those words. But then your characters are human, and humans have experiences. And how do you get those experiences but having a life? You know, and yes, you can build and build and build on top of them with your imagination. But at the end of the day, we all want to be loved. At the end of the day, we're all trying not to be found out how scared or hurt we are. At the end of the day, we're all trying to hopefully make it to our purpose, our journey, our successful moment. You know, those are real people that you want to play. And so if you want to be real, have real life. Go do real life things. Go have real life friends. Go find real joy in your life, because that just makes your work better, makes your characters better, makes your storytelling and you're relating to people in 3D and real world when you get to set better. So I think those are some of the main things that
No, most definitely. And oh man, I love interviewing actors, man. It's something about so much authenticity with living life and then playing characters who are real life people as well. And normally with the term actors, you think of just playing when it's actually real life circumstances.
It's real life, yeah.
And it's just like a contradiction within itself, which I think is just testifies to what life is about. You know, just playing people who go through everyday stuff and may not be the same stuff we experience, but something that you said, you want to be loved, you want to experience things. Those are all human qualities that everyone wants or has already experienced in one way or another. So I think that answer alone just testifies to so much about you, so much about the craft that you obviously love, because if you didn't love it, you wouldn't be here today. You know,
yeah.
But I admire that so much. I'm honestly speechless at this point. And no problem. But I'm actually really eager to ask you this, because in terms of playing characters, literally what I just said, there's you know, the possibilities are endless. There's so many characters, and you know, with the world that we're living right now, like a lot of representation is happening. To see.
Finally.
Yeah, I know. Finally. I mean, I'm not going to go deep into that, but I'm glad.
Right, finally. We're starting. We're digging ground. We're breaking earth.
Exactly. We are.
Still got some ways to go, but.
No, that's so true. But with representation being like kind of booming right now, and we're seeing these characters and we're seeing what we can be. What's your dream role, Brittany?
You know, my dream role, I don't think has been created yet in terms of, like I said, I still am an avid reader. And so there are like books that I want to play those characters in. And that would be my dream role. I would love to break into the sci-fi genre. Love. So anything up in Lord of the Rings, like type fantasy, would be great, because now that they finally realize that people can be brown and magical. But the books, the gilded ones, I would love to play Deco or Belcalis. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. In that book, and I would love to be in Legendborn. I would love to be Zelia in Black Sun. I would love to play. There's another one. There's another book that I'm missing, but those are all. I mean, at the time, I think those might be, some of them might be like young adult, but we're just gonna like adult them.
Gotcha.
But just because, one, growing up, I didn't have Black female leads in books. I didn't have Black females on the covers of books, and they weren't in the superhero, or not superhero, but the sci-fi genre. These are beautiful Black women who are complex and have emotions and strengths and vulnerabilities and fears, and fighting through their trauma and trying to fight for family and trying to fight for themselves and making their way in their world while still being terrified. Yeah. And those are something that I like. And they're also written by beautiful, genius Black women, but it's just something that I'm like, oh, I would love to see this on screen. I would love to see this Black female lead on screen, and not just it be a Black person's film or a, you know, all Black cast is like, you can be a Black woman and you can be lead of the type of franchise without it excluding anyone, and it still be a rich and fulfilling, complex character that are still things that we're going through now. And that just like, that's my heart, is that's what I want to see. That's what I want to do. Specifically those books or anything like those books, moving forward in that way to Tony Amiemi's Children of Blood and Bone. That's the other book that I was missing.
Nice.
But that's great. That one's coming to movies, and I need somebody to like circulate it back to me so I can audition for that movie. But just of different cultures, of different worlds. Like, it's so rich and compelling and complex and vibrant and beautiful. And those are just, those would be my dream roles. Like, those right there would be my dream roles.
Oh, that was awesome. Honestly, this was probably the most unique answer I've ever heard on this talk show. And I'm not being dramatic. It's beautiful to hear that your love for acting, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, came from books. And with reading, you know, I mean, the answer that everyone normally says is, hey, a superhero or leading in this or Marvel superheroes, you know, something around that realm. But I'm blown away at your answer, because not only are these leading women, of course, you know, book adaptations that can turn into films that you would like to play, but again, it's just, I don't know, there's so much authenticity and so much realism with playing, you know, roles that are based off of books, you know? And I think it's something rich and beautiful about that, because you can read something and then watch it on a film and it can be completely different. It's, of course, not how you expected originally.
Yeah.
It's just, I find a lot of beauty in that, in the way that you answered it and wanting and desiring to play those type of roles. Sci-fi, I think that's just another realm that representation can definitely break through. And once it does, or when it does, it's going to be mind-blowing for us to see, young girls to see, young boys, all
of us.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, that was just a really, really great answer. Something that I've never heard of before. And it was very rich.
Thank you.
No, like seriously, it was very like fulfilling to hear. That's just like, wow, like she loves what she does. And I can tell.
Listen, if somebody's willing to cut the check, I got like 4 books ready to go.
Yes.
Right now.
I hear you. You know, it'll happen.
Yes, it will happen. It will happen.
For sure. I just have a few more questions for you about, you know, inspiration. It comes all around us through people, through everyday life, through experiences. Who or what inspires you, Brittany? Whether that be a role model, people in your family, your support system. Who or what inspires you?
My support system is definitely my family. I'm big on family, and big on my family, to be specific. My parents knew that I wanted to be a lawyer mostly all my life, and so when I came to them and was like, Mom, Dad, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore, and they're like, well, what do you want to do? And I say acting. They never shunned me. They didn't yell or scream. They didn't say I wouldn't make it. They didn't say that that's absurd and you have to get a degree anyway, or you can get, you know, do whatever you want after you have the degree. They were like, okay, well, we're going to figure this out together and we're going to be supportive however we can. Like, my parents are those type of people, but looking back and the journey that we've taken together, not knowing what it was, not knowing how long it was going to take, Jesus, and everything that they've been able to help me with emotionally, even financially, spiritually, being there and being my support system and coming to see my shows and coming to see my plays and telling family about it and watching my one-liners in a movie or different things like that. Like my parents are a huge, huge, huge part of how I'm able to be here today, not just physically, but also in this business and in this career, and helping me not give up and telling me, like, to keep going, and to redirect me when I'm not as focused because I'm tired. So my parents for sure have definitely, oh God, I could never pay them back ever. Um, but have been a part of that. My best friend, Ashley, she, we met, and when I first moved to Georgia, and at the time I was working on a web series, didn't get paid for it. It was, but I was still proud of it. It was my first like acting thing that I could share with people that wasn't theater. And we had only recently met for like a couple of months, and she saw it. And so whenever she introduced me to other people, she was like, oh, this is my friend Brittany. She's like a super amazing actor, and would go about her business and da da da. And like, she always introduced me that way, and not in a fake hype, type of way, but she really came on believing in my talent, even when I was like really scared and really shy and didn't want to call myself an actor yet, or people, we didn't have this many views yet, so I didn't want to say anything. But to everybody in real life, she always said that I was an amazing actor. She always introduced me that way, and she always believed, and she still encourages me to this day. Like I said, have people, have a tribe, because you need people to rest your head on. You need a shoulder to cry on. You need people to see who you really are and to remind you of who you really are, whether they're in the business or not. She's not in the business, but she hears everything I have to say about the business, and she encourages me. And the other friends that I've met here, who are in the business, and we get to talk about it and talk about our woes and frustration. Like, it's very important to find your tribe who are real and who are genuine and who care about your well-being as a person first, and then your success, and who support you and check in on you, because that's another part. That's life, first of all, girl. It's like you're not a machine who can just crank out performances after performances. And sometimes you do when you're doing theater shows or you're doing run. I mean, freaking Hamilton, like the original cast ran for like 2 years. But people who are going to check on you to see how are you, how's your mental, what makes you happy, did you go for a walk today? And finding the place and the space to grow and learn from them inside the business. It's outside the business. Those are also people who support me, who I'm friends with, who I'm so happy that I can go to them and talk to them and be a mess in front of, because people like to think actors have it all together. Just the people, just the realism and the person being a person in this business, it also matters. So find your tribe, my parents, and my bestie.
Yeah, so important to have a support system, a community, people you can cry to, complain to, just express yourself, be fully yourself with. Yeah, having a support system like family, I think that just speaks volumes to be able to have a support system like that, because not everybody does. And with that being said, you could never really pay back that amount of support that your family pours into you. Like, that's just something that can never go unsaid, especially when God brings you to different levels in your life. You have to be able to circle back to the people that brought you there. So
right. And sometimes this may have nothing to do with acting at all, but sometimes God does have a conversation with you, and God does have a purpose for you that other people, especially people that you are close to, do not understand and don't get, and doesn't make sense for the time that we're in, or makes sense to the person that you are or who you've been. And sometimes you physically have to roll without your genetic family, for whatever reason that is. or sometimes your family is not in a supportive place, and then have friends and people who are just like, I love my family, but they're just not with me, or those are not the people that I count as my confidants. And that is okay. So finding your tribe is even that much more important. And your tribe does not have to be a whole gang of people. It could be one person, it could be two people, it could be you and God, and ride out for a minute until you find the person that you're supposed to be with. But don't give up on your passion, don't give up on your purpose, don't give up on what you're supposed to do in this world with your gifts, um, even if you have to do it alone.
For sure. Yeah. And to close out this wonderful interview, I had a blast talking with you.
Me too.
Story and your journey. And yeah, just I always get to this point where I'm literally speechless because of how beautiful it is to hear people and hearing their dreams and seeing it, come to fruition. It's inspiring. And with this platform, Aspire to Inspire, I want to be able to share these stories with people to let them know that it's possible and that whatever season you're in, it's just temporary. That's all it is. It's just temporary. So what I'm trying to get to without getting all choked up is, with this platform, Aspire to Inspire, we want to be able to bring life, give life, speak life over things that, are beyond our control, especially with this thing called life. And when doing that, you want to be able to inspire others in the midst. So I ask you, Brittany, how do you desire to use your platform, who you are, what you're about? How do you desire to inspire other people, whether it's family, whether it's people who come across you on social media, whether it's just people who come up to you as a stranger? How do you desire to use your platform to inspire other people?
Um, First of all, it's crazy to think that I have a platform. I'm definitely not that person to feel like, listen to me, I know all the things and I have all the words to say. Um, but I will say, breathe, and you are enough. I know that sounds so cliche, but in a world, in a society, in a social media world that keeps telling you all the ways that you are flawed and imperfect and not good enough and not trying hard enough and not doing enough and not this enough and not too much of this and not too little of that, baby, you are enough. Your joy is enough. Your laughter is enough. Your presence is enough. Your life is enough. Your everything that you have gone through, been through, dealt with, even if you're still in it, working your way out of it, your story is there to encourage somebody else, to lift up somebody else in whatever realm that you exist, because we all need people here. I desire to inspire people to realize that who you are, where you are, is enough. Even if you got to cry your way through, even if you got to fight your way through, or sob your way through, or complain your way through, you are enough. And you have so many gifts besides the one that you're thinking about, or besides the one that keeps you up at night. So many gifts that this world needs to see, so many gifts that are going to touch and reach other people in whatever category, in whatever realm that may not even exist yet, that may never have been done yet, or has been done but is waiting for your flair to be on it. So please don't think that you're not gifted. Please don't think that you're not worthy. Please don't think that you're not perfectly imperfect just the way you are. We need you. You are gifts, and to use everything that you are, use everything that you are for whatever it is that you need.
Yeah. No, and wow. It's oh man, here I go. It's just so beautiful to not even have known you for that long, but to have shared this interview with you, to be able to speak to you. Um, I don't really say this to everyone, but I do believe God has a great calling on your life.
Thank
I don't
you.
think I mean, I know that he's not done with you yet. And
Yeah,
I
God.
can't and I can't wait to see all the things that you do and will continue to do. You're inspiring to me, hence why I reached out. And
Thank
I'm sure this
you.
interview will be inspiring to other people as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for reaching out to me to do this on this platform. I appreciate it, and for allowing me to be free and to be myself. I'm in this business with God and faith, and that's a part of who I am in this business. So I appreciate being here and being fully accepted.
Yeah, of
And
course.
yeah.
No, most definitely. And just concluding this video, this interview video, it is technically a video for our viewers watching or will be watching. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this entire interview. I hope you were able to take some major things that Brittany has said so authentically and beautifully. And that's concluding episode 51. Of course, more interviews will be coming to you guys real, real soon. Until then, goodbye.
Bye.
Aw.